Rob Donovan, Mark Bayless, is a ticking time bomb ready to explode in Coronation Street, as new spoilers for next week confirm a terrifying hostage situation, ordering Tracy Barlow, Kate Ford, to get Carla Connor, Allison King, over. Rob has a tense and potentially final showdown with his sister at gunpoint, with Lisa Swain, Vicky Myers, racing to the hostage situation. A gunshot rings out. But who is hit, and will they live or die? Meanwhile, lives are in jeopardy elsewhere too when Jenny Connor, Sally Ann Matthews, takes her eye off Bertie, leading to a perilous situation. Elsewhere, Debbie Webster, Sue Devaney, gets a shock and hopes that she can keep it hidden from Kevin, Michael Lavelle. Tuesday, March 25th, on Rob's orders, Tracy calls Carla and, making out she's got a business proposition, asks her to call at number 1 as soon as possible. Carla's shocked to come face to face with Rob, clearly in pain and clutching a gun. Later, a gunshot rings out. When Eileen reveals how Julie wants to live her final days to the full, Todd sorts a trip to a cocktail bar. As they get glammed up, Julie pretends to take her medication but secretly puts it away. As they head to the tram, Julie's suddenly hit by pain and leans on a wall, where a piece of scaffolding falls, narrowly missing her. Theo, the site manager, apologizes, although later tells George that Julie was clearly faking her pain as the scaffolding missed her by miles. When George reveals that Julie has cancer, Theo's mortified and tells Todd he'd like to buy her some flowers. Offering him a flirtatious smile, Todd shows him the way. Sean nervously slips a glasses case containing the burner phone into Daniel's school bag. Sean calls Dylan in the STC and urges him to look for the case in Daniel's bag. Dylan understands the coded message and thanks him. In class, as Daniel deals with an altercation, Dylan takes the opportunity to search his bag, but Daniel catches him red-handed. Mick presents Debbie with an invoice for the remaining £150, but Debbie makes it clear she has no intention of paying it. Realizing her purse is missing, Debbie accuses Mick of stealing it as Ronnie squares up to him. Jenny presents Rita with a spa voucher and explains that Daisy's dad invested shares in her name years ago and she's expecting a payout of £60,000. Wednesday, March 26th, in the hospital waiting room, there's an anxious wait for news on the person who was shot. Todd's disappointed that Theo doesn't seem interested. Julie hatches a plan and, making out they've got a leaky roof, arranges for him to call at number 11, where he finds Todd alone. Realizing he's been set up, Theo spells out to Todd that he's not gay and he'd appreciate it if he and his aunt would leave him alone. As Daisy stresses about the money they owe Carla, Jenny keeps stum about her windfall. Daniel suggests to Daisy that she should move in with him and Bertie, but Daisy worries that it wouldn't be fair to abandon Jenny. Jenny hands Daisy the spa voucher, making out she bought it for her to cheer her up. Daisy's touched whilst Jenny suppresses her guilt. Dee Dee confides in Sarah that she barely slept worrying about making the right decision for her baby. When she stresses that the prospective parents don't feel suitable, Sarah suggests that James and Danny would be the right fit. Debbie receives a call from the school informing her that Jack was involved in a fight and he's been suspended. Debbie manages to persuade Mrs. Crawshaw to revoke his suspension and tells him not to mention it to Kevin. Friday, March 28th, as Daisy ruminates over Jenny's recent windfall and wonders how long she intends to keep it a secret, Jenny offers Carla £60,000 in part payment of her debt. Carla's unimpressed and suggests she use the money for a business loan, then she can pay off the whole debt. As Jenny looks after Bertie, she's distracted by a call from the bank. In the garden at number 4, Bertie spots his football floating in the hot tub. As Steve and Cassie head out for a saucy dip, they're horrified to see Bertie in the water. As a frantic Jenny searches the street, Steve and Cassie emerge with Bertie. Daisy reads the riot act to Jenny as they take Bertie to hospital, pointing out he could have drowned, just like Tom. Dee Dee begrudgingly joins James for lunch, but suddenly she's racked with pain. When Dee Dee suffers another contraction, James helps her out. At the maternity unit, the midwife explains that what she experienced were false labor pains and the baby isn't quite ready to come yet. When James reveals how he and Danny got very close to adopting a little boy but it didn't happen and they were left heartbroken, Dee Dee's given food for thought. Steve apologizes to Cassie for his recent barbed remarks and offers her a cup of tea while he house sits at Tim's. As things get steamy, Cassie suggests a skinny dip in the hot tub.